Are you missing out on the best sales talent? Because, they might not even be looking at job boards.
It's true.
So many of them are already doing really well in their roles, but maybe they would be open to something new if it was the perfect fit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you, as sales leaders and hiring managers, how do you tap into that pool of talent? Well, that's what we're diving into today.
Yeah, I think that's a great question.
We're taking a look at a blog post. It's called Don't Hate Me, But I'm a Headhunter. And it's from the Sales Experts.
Mm-hmm.
And it challenges some ideas we have about headhunters and shows how they can actually be really powerful partners in your quest for sales success.
Yeah, and I think one of the most interesting things is how it addresses the stigma headhunters often face, especially, in the sales industry. I mean, right off the bat, the title, Don't Hate Me,
Redway.
it acknowledges, that there are these preconceived notions out there and sets the stage for a more nuanced discussion about, what headhunters actually do.
It definitely piques your interest right away.
Yeah.
And then it goes right into debunking some of those myths.
Exactly.
Like that headhunters are only in it for the money or the transaction.
Right. And while, fees are definitely a part of the business model, any good headhunter is going to tell you that their long-term success is based on placements that work out for both the candidate and the company.
Yeah.
They understand that. So, think about it. Repeat business, referrals, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's crucial in this industry. And that only happens when you are creating those matches, like the blog says, those meaningful matches.
Yeah, it's about those relationships. It makes a lot more sense when you think of it that way.
Right, exactly.
Not just a one-off quick placement. It's about building trust.
And that leads us to another myth that the blog kind of dismantles a little bit, that headhunters don't understand the ins and outs of the sales roles they're trying to fill.
And I can definitely see where that perception comes from. I mean, sales is so diverse.
It is, yeah.
So many specializations. It would be tough to be an expert in every area.
Absolutely. But, professional headhunters, they invest the time and effort to deeply understand the specific sales sectors that they operate in.
Right.
So they're going to stay current on the trends. They're going to know the ins and outs of different sales roles. And they can spot those qualities in a candidate that would make them a great fit for a particular company culture.
Yeah, it's not just skimming a resume.
It's not, no.
It's about, the whole picture of how that new hire is going to impact the team.
The dynamics of the sales team, yeah, for sure.
Right.
And then finally, there's the myth that headhunters will try to put anyone in any role just to, get a deal done.
Yeah.
Close the deal.
Before reading this post, I'd have to say I probably believe that a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it is a common misconception.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, it doesn't hold up. A
No.
bad fit, it hurts everybody. The employee's unhappy, probably ends up leaving. The company's going to restart the whole hiring process. The headhunter's reputation takes a hit. No one wins in that scenario.
So if we set aside those myths for a minute, what does the blog say about the value that headhunters actually bring to the table?
So I think that's where things get really interesting, especially for all of our listeners out there, sales leaders and hiring managers, The blog, it outlines 3 main benefits for employers.
Okay.
Access to top talent, crucial industry insights, and just making the entire hiring process more efficient.
All right, so let's break those down.
Yeah, let's do that.
Starting with access to that top talent, because I think a lot of us in sales have been there, sifting through all those applications.
Oh, yeah.
And so many of them, they're just not a good fit.
Absolutely.
So how does a headhunter help with that?
Well, remember that statistic we started with.
Yeah.
So many of those high-performing salespeople, they're not actively looking. They're already killing it where they are. But they might be open if the right opportunity came along.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the pool that headhunters can tap into.
So it's like you get this secret weapon in the war for talent.
I don't know about a weapon, but it is a strategic advantage.
Okay.
Yeah, because headhunters, they cultivate these relationships, through placements they've made, through industry events, or just by staying plugged into the sales community. They can reach candidates that would never see your job postings because, those candidates are not actively looking.
I see how that would be a game changer, especially for those hard-to-fill roles. The ones that need a very specific skill set or experience.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's not just about finding those diamonds in the rough. It's about making sure that they're the right fit for the company culture, for the team dynamic. And, that's where that second benefit, industry insight, comes into play. Because a good headhunter, they act like a bridge between the company and all that talent out there.
Mm-hmm.
They really have their finger on the pulse of the sales market.
So they're not just matching resumes. They're like strategic advisors
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it.
who can help companies make smarter hiring decisions.
Absolutely, because they have all this knowledge about the current trends, the skills that are in high demand, even salary benchmarks.
Yeah.
And that expertise, it can save companies from making some costly hiring mistakes.
It's like having a consultant who's just dedicated to building your sales team.
Yeah,
Someone who brings all that knowledge and experience to the table.
I like that. Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it. And then all of that, it translates into that third benefit, which is efficiency. Instead of spending all this time reading resumes and doing the initial screenings, you can outsource all that to a headhunter.
Yeah, that saves a lot of time and resources, especially,
Yeah.
if you're a busy sales leader who's already got a lot on your plate.
Absolutely. Yeah, it frees you up to focus on other things, and it can help prevent those bad hires, which, we've talked about how costly those can be, not just financially, but, for team morale as well.
So we've covered the benefits for employers, but what about the job seekers? What's in it for them?
That is a great question.
What's in it for a sales professional to partner with a headhunter?
And that's one we're going to dive into more in our next segment. But for now, let's just say that the right headhunter can be an invaluable ally in navigating the sales job market and helping you achieve your career goals.
I'm excited to dive into that in our next segment.
Yeah.
Sounds like we've got a lot more to unpack in this deep dive.
Yeah.
I'm eager to learn more about how that partnership dynamic works from the job seeker's perspective.
Yeah, it's a good one. Okay, so let's switch gears a bit and talk about what's in it for the job seekers.
Yeah, let's do that.
Specifically those in sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
The blog post from the Sales Experts, it highlights 3 key advantages.
Okay.
Uncovering those hidden opportunities, getting some really tailored career advice, and then having an advocate throughout the whole process.
I think that hidden opportunities piece is super interesting.
Yeah.
I've been on both sides of the hiring process, and I know that the best roles, they don't always get posted publicly.
Yeah. Right, exactly. I mean, think about it. If a company has a really high-performing sales team, they're probably going to promote from within.
Right.
Whenever possible.
Makes sense.
So those internal moves, a lot of times, they create openings that never even make it to a job board.
Yeah.
And headhunters, they're in the know, they're privy to that kind of movement and can connect you with those opportunities that, most people wouldn't even know about.
So it's like you get access to this whole other side of the job market.
Yeah, exactly. You're tapping into this network.
The secret market.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And beyond just finding those hidden gems, headhunters can offer some really valuable career advice, especially in a field like sales,
Yeah.
It's constantly changing.
Constantly changing, yeah.
And they have this deep understanding of the sales landscape and can offer insights that you're not going to find in just some generic career guide,
So it's not just about getting a job, it's about getting the right job.
Exactly. The right door opening at the right time.
At the right time.
In your career, yeah.
Yeah.
And a headhunter can help you, assess your skills, where you're at, identify areas where you could grow, even help you craft a more compelling career narrative. Something that's really going to resonate with hiring managers.
So they're like your personalized career coach.
Yeah.
But for sales.
Exactly. Focused on that sales success.
Okay.
And then, that brings us to the third advantage, having someone in your corner throughout the entire hiring process. Think about how many times, you've sent out a resume and you never hear back.
Oh, yeah.
Or how stressful it can be to negotiate salary.
Totally.
A headhunter, they're your champion,
They're fighting for you.
Yeah, they guide you through those tough spots and make sure your voice is heard.
I bet that takes so much stress out of the job search.
It does.
Especially for those higher level roles,
Absolutely, yeah. When the stakes are a lot higher. A good headhunter, they'll prep you for interviews, they'll help you highlight your strengths, and even negotiate on your behalf.
Wow.
To make sure you get the best possible offer.
They're like almost part of your team.
They are, yeah.
Working to help you achieve your goals.
Absolutely. This is all starting to paint a very different picture of headhunters than what I think a lot of people have in their minds.
Yeah.
It's less about just placing someone and more about, a real partnership.
Working together.
Collaboration. Yeah, exactly. And that's the shift in perspective that, the blog post is trying to encourage. It's that the right headhunter, they become an invaluable asset, both for companies who are trying to build those top performing sales teams and, for sales professionals who are looking to move up in their careers.
It's about being on the same page.
It is.
Working together towards that sales success.
That's it.
Like the sales experts talk about. But how does all this play out in real life?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Do you have any examples of how headhunters have actually helped, companies build these great sales teams or helped individual salespeople land their dream jobs?
I do. And I think that's where, the real power of this kind of partnership becomes really clear.
Okay.
I've seen it firsthand how headhunters can make a real difference.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
Let's hear about these real-world scenarios
All right.
and how this partnership works in practice. So let's hear about some of those real-world examples.
Yeah, so I've got a great one that really shows the value that headhunters can bring to companies.
Okay.
I worked with this tech startup a while back.
Okay.
They had a really awesome SaaS product, software as a service, for those who maybe aren't familiar with that term.
Yeah.
But they were really struggling to attract that top sales talent.
Yep.
They were mostly using job boards and just weren't getting the results they wanted.
So it sounds like they were missing out on that passive candidate pool we talked about.
Exactly. The high performers who are already doing well, but, might be open to the right thing.
Yeah.
So they decided to work with a headhunter.
Okay.
Someone who specialized in SaaS sales. And, within a couple of months, their whole sales team was completely different.
Wow.
Because the headhunter, they were able to leverage their network. They found these experienced sales professionals who were really excited about the startup and the potential for growth.
Yeah.
And these were people who weren't even really looking to leave their current jobs. But the headhunter knew how to present the opportunity in a way that made sense for their career goals.
So it wasn't just about filling the position. It was about finding the right people.
Right, exactly.
The right fit for their culture.
The cultural fit, absolutely.
People who really connected with the product.
Yeah, people who believed in the mission.
Yeah.
Who really aligned with their vision. And that's what a good headhunter does. They get that a successful placement is about more than just matching skills and experience on paper. Yeah.
It's about finding those people who are going to thrive in the company's environment and, help them achieve their long-term sales success.
It's like a perfect match.
Exactly. So that's a great example of how a headhunter can be a game changer for a company.
Yeah.
What about from the job seeker side?
Yeah, tell me about that.
Do you have any examples of how it's helped individual salespeople?
I do. So I once worked with this sales director who kind of hit a ceiling in his career.
Okay.
He had a great track record.
Yeah.
But was feeling stuck and wasn't sure how to get to that next level.
I've been there.
He'd been applying for executive level roles, but wasn't getting any responses.
Yeah, it's tough when you put yourself out there.
It is.
Face those rejections when you have the experience.
Exactly.
So that's when, the right headhunter can really make all the difference.
Correct.
So in this case, I was able to help him really, revamp his resume.
Okay.
Highlight his accomplishments.
Quantify the impact he had on previous companies.
Yeah.
And we also worked on his interview skills.
Right.
Really focusing on how to communicate his vision and strategy in a compelling way.
So you were like his career coach, helping him prepare.
That was definitely part of it.
Yeah.
But I also, tapped into my network to connect him with companies who were looking for someone with his exact expertise.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, sending his resume out into the void. It was about being strategic.
Moving those connections.
Advocating for him behind the scenes.
So what happened?
Well, within a few months, he landed a VP of sales role.
Wow.
At a company that was growing like crazy.
That's great.
It was a perfect fit, his skills, his experience, and he's been doing awesome there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this job.
Yeah.
Seeing those meaningful matches happen.
Yeah.
Witnessing both the person and the company benefit.
Win-win.
It is.
That's great.
And those are just a couple examples, but I think they really show how headhunters, when you look at them in the right way, can be such strong allies when it comes to achieving sales success.
Totally. Whether you're building a team or, you're a sales professional trying to take your career to the next level, working with a good headhunter can open up those opportunities that you might not even know are out there.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
Don't underestimate the power of partnership.
Okay.
If you're a sales leader, a hiring manager, really look into the benefits of working with a headhunter who focuses on sales. It could be the edge you need to attract and keep that great talent.
And for all the sales professionals out there listening, don't be afraid to reach out to a headhunter.
Right.
They can give you great advice, open those doors to hidden opportunities, and help you navigate that whole job market landscape.
Yeah, I think that's so important because the right headhunter, they're not just a recruiter, they're a partner. They're invested in your success.
So if you're ready to step up your sales game, think about adding a headhunter to your team.
That's great advice.
Great advice.
Hmm.
And for those who want to learn more about finding and working with a headhunter, check out the Sales Experts website.
Yeah, it's a great resource.
They have a ton of resources on how to build those winning sales teams and, achieve that sales success. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.